A lot of great stuff happened on SmackDown this week, but in spite of these several good things, I didn't find the episodes to be terribly exciting. I was more interested in reading shit on my phone while the show was happening, which is a shame, and just weird. I don't know what was up with me. But anyway, let's get into this thing. We started off the show strong. Bryan kicked it off by saying that Dolph Ziggler was nowhere to be found, and since that's the case, we're having a US title tournament to determine the new champion, which is pretty sweet. I'm always up for a good tournament. That's something that I definitely enjoy seeing here and there on WWE television. There have been reports making the rounds that they're gonna keep the story going by having Dolph not be on TV for a number of weeks, and if that's the case, I'm all for it. Because like Jim Cornette says, how can I miss you if you won't go away? And I think that Dolph going away for a while is probably one of the best things that can happen to him, because that'll help wash away some of the stink that the company has put on him for the past number of years. And not only did our favorite GM make a US title tournament, but once New Day, Benjamin and Gable, and Rusev and English came out to all claim their respective shots at the Usos for the titles, Daniel said that he felt that they all had valid points, and so he put them in a triple threat tag team match to determine the team that will take on the Usos for the titles. And it was pretty cool because the crowd chanted for Rusev before he and English had even gone out there, and English sang while they walked on down to the ring to plead their cause. It was all just awesome, and they put on a damn good show in the actual match, and wouldn't you know it, Gable and Benjamin pulled off the victory, and now they're facing the Usos for the belts next week. That's pretty cool. I said so last week that it looks like they're on an upward trend, and even if they don't win the titles next week, and I'm not sure that they should just because I haven't given it too much thought, it's gonna make for a badass match. And then we go back to Daniel Bryan because he had a segment with Shane in which the tension was off the charts. You could grab a hot knife and try to slice it, but the knife would break because Shane obviously wasn't happy with how events have been playing out over the past few weeks between him, Bryan, Owens, and Zayn. And Shane only continues to feel more and more like a heel as time goes by because really, who's gonna boo Bryan at this point? No one! And I can't wait to see what happens next between the two. Shenanigans happened between the Bludgeon Bros, Breezango, and now the Ascension. The Ascension inserted an actual program. Did someone rewind the clock a few years? I believe I made that joke recently, but I don't care because there's a guy out there that, in this case, would say that you should grab 2 of each animal and head for the bastard border. But anyway, it turns out that the Ascension got Breezango a surprise rematch against the Bros, which wasn't pleasant news to them, of course, and so they were getting absolutely destroyed by the Bros yet again, and they had the match won at one point, the Bros did, but they decided that they wanted to keep on beating Breezango up, and the Ascension ran down, tackled them both, and hauled ass with Breezango on their shoulders. It was nice to finally see them do something of some meaning after so goddamn long. And then a moment later backstage, they said that they got them another rematch against the Bludgeon Bros next week, so much for their help. But this story's going to continue, and I'm happy to see it. And then we move on to the women, and it was possibly the worst bit of the entire show. They essentially just threw them all together like they've been doing on and off with them for years now, with Naomi facing off against Ruby Riott and losing the match, with Logan and Morgan helping with distractions. But the match felt like it went on for all of some 2 minutes, so it was essentially meaningless, and then Natalya, Lana, Tamina, and Carmella all came out together for whatever reason to fight the Riott Squad off, which was just weird as fuck, because what? Does this make Natty a face now? Are Tamina, Lana, and Carmella still even considered heels? Who the fuck am I supposed to root for here? As the weeks go by, with segments like this one, I'm finding it harder and harder to care about the Riott Squad. I definitely don't care for this alliance that these women have seemingly formed, and it all just feels like one gigantic clusterfuck. Definitely the worst bit of the show. And then we had 2 of the US title tournament matches, with Rude facing off against Corbin and Jinder facing off against Ty Dillinger, and the matches were fine. Jinder defeated Ty and Rude went over on Corbin, and that's that. We all know that Ty's just seen as a jobber by the powers that be up to this point, as he's basically Ryder 2.0, and it's hard to say who will be the next US champion. It isn't a stretch to imagine that Jinder will win it since his last match against AJ saw him getting so much offense in, with AJ making him look good, but Rude would also make for an awesome champ. And who knows, maybe Dolph Ziggler will turn up and say that hey, he left the title and he'll bitch and moan and he'll get a shot at the title as well. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. And then we had the main event, Styles versus Owens, with Zayn in Owens' corner, of course, which Shane wasn't happy about. Hell, he wasn't happy about the match taking place, period, as he so kindly pointed out to Bryan earlier in the night, and he ended up interfering in the match once Zayn also got involved to help out Owens, and he ordered the referee to kick his ass out of ringside, and Owens ended up rolling AJ and pulling on his tights to get the win, and AJ definitely wasn't happy about that, as you can see on your screen. So now, Shane's vendetta against Zayn and Owens has evicted his WWE champion, and with he and AJ having history, things can definitely go sour again between the two if Shane doesn't keep his ass in check. And that was SmackDown this week. Again, the show felt like it dragged on for me for whatever reason this week, but in hindsight, as I wrote the script for this thing, I feel like I should have enjoyed the show even more than I did when I was actually watching it. Maybe I was just tired, I don't fucking know, but the show overall gets a thumbs up from me. What did you think of SmackDown this week? Leave a comment to share your opinions, hit a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more weekly 20x20 goodness. And if you really enjoy this one-man show, consider supporting the channel on Patreon. But until then, this was this week's SmackDown 20x20, and I'll catch your ass soon for more pro wrestling goodness.